Welcome to The Drop. Ready to drop your lives and follow Jesus. Dive into authentic Christian living with us as we unpack the Bible and explore faith like never before. Hit like, subscribe, and follow. Click everything and join the journey.
Hi and welcome to The Drop. The challenge is to drop our lives and follow Jesus and get a closer alignment with what he wants us to do and how he wants us to walk. And I'm in my garden again with a little bit of washing hanging out and all that. There's my thing behind me. Yeah, it's a pretty nice place to be. But I wanted to show you this. This is a bench that we bought and it's pretty unique. In fact, there's probably nothing like it in the world, simply because it's a one-off that was taken from, I think it's from Indonesia, to be honest. And this is like a thing that I'm not sure we sit on a lot, but we definitely can sit on it, and I will in a minute. But it's just something that we thought was just pretty unique in its kind of nature. So what's the point of me showing you this bench? Well, here's the thing. One of the most important things that we can do in our Christian life is to realize just how unique we are. We may feel that we're bog standard and we're kind of like, oh, I'm just a Christian who believes, have I got anything to offer? What have I got to offer? What's the thing going on with me? And I think these are, valid questions and common to all people, that you'd get these questions that you ask of yourself. And especially if you're kind of like in a church that kind of it's like a cookie cutter approach to Christians and says, well, this is what Christians are like, this is what they do and all that kind of thing, and this is what they behave like, and this is what they act out like, and everything like that. And I think, a lot of churches can do that, and it's healthy-ish, you know what I mean? But I think what's more healthy is when we sit down and we go, God, what do you want me to do? What is my calling? What is my what are you doing with me? And I always say to my wife, I've probably said this on other drops before, but she works in a place which is not really a Christian mission. Mine's kind of a Christian mission, it's a school. We're fighting in the devil's playground, as we used to say a long time ago. And I'm directly involved with Christian ministry and Christians and all that kind of thing. That's what I do for my day job, after being don't like the word, but pastor of a house church in Yanchep, which is in about 20 minutes actually, we're going to start. So I just thought I'd do this before that. Here we are. And the point I'm trying to make is that if you are in a workplace like my wife is, I treat you as like the SAS, the Special Air Service in Britain. There's like a wing of the military, and they get sent into places that, like it's really difficult to infiltrate, it's really difficult to get the aims and objectives of the mission going, and sometimes it can be like, well, are you actually doing anything, Lord? Well, my wife will tell you that from time to time there are discussions and there are concerns that some of the staff members bring up concerning religion, concerning what's going on in the world, concerning, I'm worried about this, what should we do? And especially at this time, we've got it kicking off in the Middle East pretty bad. Flights have been cancelled and all kinds of stuff going on like that. But yeah, so what we'd normally do is go somebody who's up front on a platform, making it kind of their ministry to be heard or anything like that. All well and good, don't mishear me. But those who are at work in engineering workshops, working at the local supermarket, and you're not really, how can this be a mission? Well, Special Air Service. You've been sent in there to make a difference. And sometimes you've got to be like a secret agent to get in there and to kind of be amongst the people for a while. And then when the discussion takes place, never often, but when it does take place, especially at times like this, when people are thinking what's going to happen next, bearing in mind that Jesus told us all this would happen anyway, but people who aren't aligning with the Lord or the Bible or anything like that, they're not really sure what's going to happen. So they might come up to you and say, well, what's going on? I don't understand. I'm so fearful and scared about what's going on. But you can say, peace be still, because you can say, Jesus had all this sorted. I mean, I wouldn't come in with this approach that I'm doing now. It would be a conversation where you'd have to weave your way in a little bit, but definitely tell them about that and just say, and the reason why we know that everything's fine. And maybe it's a message for you. Maybe you're worrying. Maybe you're concerned and you're fretting maybe about things that are going on in the world. right now? Well, I want to say to you, peace be still. I think I've said it a few times on the drop. Just don't fret. So, I'm a bit paranoid about these little itches, right? Because I got bit by a spider last week, twice. He didn't just want one part of my arm, two. Yeah, two. Double portion. I got a double portion of a spider bite. Great stuff, biblical. Anyway, you might be fretting, and I'm just going to say to you, peace be still. Why? Because Jesus, resurrected from the dead, can never be killed, destroyed, or injured. Okay? He's in control. He's the one calling the shots, and we as Christians know that. And still, even as Christians, though, we can go, hold on a minute. It's getting a bit kind of, nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and we're seeing that happen right before our very eyes. But peace be still. Be at peace with this, because your King and your Lord goes out to fight for you. Got off track a little bit there. Let's get back onto track. My wife works in this context of not really a Christian mission at all. She's really good at what she does, and she's one of the top brands around the world for what she does. And but yet sometimes she feels like she's not really used, or what's going on, God? Is that just what it was? I mean, firstly, she's my kind of helpmeet. She's the one who helps me do what I do, and extremely effectively. And and secondly, she's quite content with that sometimes. And we never really raise the question, but she's not a person who bothers about that. But in a church where there's a cookie cutter approach, you can end up being like, what's my thing? I see all these people on the stage there, and I'm feeling a little bit insecure. What, God, have you forgot about me? Does my life matter? Is it significant? Have I got purpose? And them two things there, significance and purpose, can chase you down quite significantly in a world that, Western world that kind of demands that you accomplish and you achieve, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to just speak a little bit into that also. Abiding in Jesus, you are in a relational situation with the Lord, and there's no need to sort of start running around trying to prove yourself to Jesus, because he knows who you are and he's set you up in the way he's set you up. However, if you're a person who's avoiding something that God said to you, that's a different question. You need to search your own soul about that. And if you're a person who's comfortable and relaxed and sort of a little bit too lax, and kind of like the world's, grabbing at your heels and trying to drag you into that context of sort of you can be too relaxed, you can be too catered for, and you can be dragged into the world and not so sensitive to the things that really wouldn't please the Lord. Just got a sense of conviction right then. But getting back to what I was talking about, if I can actually remember. Oh yeah, how God wants to make you unique, and he's made you into this bench that I started off with, which is, I don't think there's not another one in the world like it. There's a lot of its kind where it's been uniquely brought about from some kind of timber situation, and then crafted into a certain seating bench arrangement. Well, similarly, you've been and are being brought into a situation where you're totally unique. So I'll ask you this question today. This will be a short one. We're on 8 minutes 21 seconds, right? The sun's gone. When you think about yourself, and if you're completely unique, and it's not just about the way you look, the way you talk, the way you think, the way you're educated, the way you find yourself having a great or not so great relationship with the Lord right now, the way you find yourself struggling with sin maybe, the way you find yourself tripping up, having to pick up your cross too many times than you'd like to be doing, repenting more times than you like to, or conversely, you're a person who's good at this. You can speak and you can be heard and listened and understood. You can articulate a Bible verse or two. I want to tell you something gently. None of that matters. Tell you what matters. Has Jesus got your heart? Has Jesus got your heart? Has he got the core, central person that you are? Does it belong totally to him? I don't know how many people, because I know from personal experience that I can be standing in front of a church knowing full well that I've got stuff that I need to sort out. I grew up in the Pentecostal church, and they used to say things like, don't preach anything that you're not achieving. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, that means I have to stand up there perfect. I'm not going to be able to do it, and nobody else is. But what I'm saying is, let's get back to the point. Who am I? What are my giftings? No stress, no comparison to anybody else, no concern, no worry, nothing like that. No, fretting. Thank you, aeroplane. That's a really good timing. Yeah. No, being really worried about, Lord, am I being used? Am I being effective? Am I being the person who you made me to be? Am I doing the thing that you want me to do? Now, there's a few questions around that, but what we need to do is get before the Lord and say, Lord, I come before you fresh. I come before you anew. I come before you wanting to align myself with you and your purposes and will. And I want to do that wholeheartedly. So, Lord, help me to cast off that which is restraining, that which is stopping, that which is hindering, the barriers I've put in place. You certainly haven't put them in place. The things, the people who I know, the practices that I'm involved in. Help me to gently look at them and just say, that's not helping. That's not helping me walk well. So, yeah, I'll leave it there today, just like an urge to, be comfortable in the skin that you're in. And if you're not, ask God why, and He'll tell you. I think that's it for today. This has been The Drop, your discipleship program.